Hi, I want to tell you 4 reasons why you shouldn't remove your mole at home. A lot of people contact me on YouTube and talk about how you can remove moles at home, and I'm sure there are ways you can remove moles at home, but the first reason why you shouldn't do it is, could it be cancer? The first thing we think about when we look at a mole is it cancer, is it not? Now, I don't want to scare you because they're not that common, but they can happen, and there can be some quite bad cancers associated with moles, particularly malignant melanoma. Bob Marley died of malignant melanoma. He was 36 when he died. Eva Cassidy, she died. She's a singer. She died at 33. Vinnie Jones's wife, in fact, Vinnie Jones has got melanoma, and Vinnie Jones's wife, Vinnie Jones's wife actually died when she was 53 of melanoma. So it does happen. Malignant melanoma is a serious cancer, and it needs to be, your moles need to be checked before you start even thinking about removing them to make sure they're cancer. So that's reason number 1. Second reason that you don't want to remove your mole at home is because you can't send it away for histology. So histology is when we look at the mole under a microscope. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, if it's not cancer, do I need to be sent for histology? And you might not, but this is a decision you need to make with your doctor, because even if we're not worried it's cancer, particularly if it's a flat mole, we would tend to send it away for histology. Very occasionally people come to us with a lymph node or with signs of a cancer without any obvious primary cancer. So they've got a lymph node, so it looks like they've had a cancer which has spread. Now, if you've recently had a mole removed, or I say recently, if any time you had a mole removed and we haven't sent it away for histology to confirm that it's not cancer, then we would worry that mole that we removed back in the day was actually a cancer. So it is good practice to be absolutely sure that moles aren't cancer by sending them away for histological analysis, so we can be absolutely sure and reassure you that it's not cancerous. And that's reason number 2. The third reason you don't want to have your mole removed at home is for sterility. I mean, let's face it, this is a surgical procedure, and when we do surgical procedures, we do them under sterile conditions. We've got a room which is set up for surgery. It's got special flooring, special surfaces. The instruments are all sterile. Then we will wear sterile gloves. You need to do it under sterile conditions, because if you don't do it under sterile conditions, if you try and do any sort of surgery at home, then there's a risk that that wound can get infected, and that will leave you with a worse outcome, worse scarring, and it'll be bad all round. So that's reason number 3. The fourth reason that you shouldn't really remove your mole at home might be the most compelling for many people, and that is the depth of excision. Again, it's a surgical procedure, and everyone here at the STERILITY clinic is a plastic surgeon. We're all fully trained plastic surgeons, and when you have a mole is a collection of pigmented cells in the skin and in different layers of the skin, and you have to remove those layers of the skin in order to remove the mole. So you can't remove a mole without scarring. There's always some degree of scarring, and the amount of scarring depends on how much skin you remove, and the amount of skin you remove depends on the depth of those pigment cells, and that is something that we can assess, and we can make sure that we remove the mole completely, but also minimize the scarring. And when you're doing things at home, a lot of people use home remedies, products to apply topically to the skin. You can't assess how much of the skin that's going to damage, because that's what they're doing. They're damaging the skin, whether it be burning it with acid, with a laser, freezing it, doing some kind of local trauma by scraping it or tying a string around it. Whatever you're doing, you're traumatizing that skin, and you need to assess the level of damage. If you don't damage enough of the skin, then the mole remains, and if you damage too much skin, you get extra scarring. So the depth of the excision is crucial to get the best cosmetic result following your mole removal. So that's 4 reasons why you really shouldn't be removing your mole at home.